What up, everybody? Happy Friday. It's Corey Miller, pastor of Pain. Something new that I'm working on doing. I'm going to do more Gamecock reveals, Gamecock breakdowns, because I'm interested in what's happening here in Columbia at the University of South Carolina. Of course, I've been following all of the transfer portal stuff, and I know a lot of you, based on what I've seen, are extremely excited, fired up, pumped up. You weren't a week ago. Last weekend, what I was reading was Beamer don't know what he's doing. Beamer didn't get any welcome homes. What's going on? You got all these big-time recruits at the facility, and nothing is happening. But that has changed this week because there's been a lot of welcome homes and things like that. Listen, let me just say this initially. This transfer portal, which South Carolina has to be a part of, it is the only way South Carolina is going to be able to propel themselves and have an opportunity to compete at the highest level in the SEC. You got Oklahoma, you got Texas is coming in. It doesn't get any easier, okay? And we just been honest. I played at blood, sweat, and tears. It's hard. I mean, we've had good programs at times, but we haven't been consistent. We've been pretty much average to above average football program. Fan base is great, best in the world. You got facilities, some of the best in the world. But the reality is, in the SEC, it's difficult. So how does South Carolina climb this mountain? And it's through the transfer portal. And it kind of stinks and it sucks because it's hurting high school recruiting. It's hurting that recruit that deserves a chance to be in college football, Division I football, that they used to take and say he's a developmental kid. And we got a couple of years at quarterback, D-line, O-line, whatever it is, to get weight on him, to get him stronger, to get him, used to what's happening to the program, get him comfortable. Well, you don't have that anymore. So when they have position of needs, which they have now, which they have been addressing this week, they go to the portal, right? And I got names here that we know. Let's start with Rocket Raheem Sanders. We knew what the running back situation was last year. Mario was a great addition from Newberry. My scout friend from the Buffalo Bills had told me this kid had a good grade, good player. I hate that he left. I thought he was good, but he didn't have the help to carry on. I love that brother. But he wasn't a true running back. So they was trying to piece things together. That was a problem along with the offensive line and the injuries there. So they had to address the running back room. Rocket Raheem Sanders, I'm not said it before, and I'm going to say it a lot today. I loved him 2 years ago, but I don't know who he is. I'm not, as a former player, as a fan, I'm not going to get crazy excited about him until I see. Because I don't know who the young man is. They know, they spent time, they recruited him. I get all of that. But I can't say that South Carolina is a program because Raheem or Rocket's going to be here, that the program goes here. I need to see it. He need to show. He need to prove. And as I stand on firm on what I said, because I do believe that these guys today care less about the program. It's about money and opportunity, period. It ain't the love for the game. It ain't forever to thee no more, okay? So I like it. I think it's a great signing, and it could be great if he's ready to work, he's ready to lose weight, he's ready to get in shape, and the injuries. Now, the other guys, I'm just going to be honest with you, I haven't heard of them. I haven't heard of any of these guys, and I watch a lot of college football. Now, I might have heard their name, but they didn't do enough for me to really grab my attention, right? And they got a lot of guys. I mean, they fill their running back room. Today, they just got, the edge rusher from Georgia Tech, Kyle Kennard. 4 years he's been there. 12 and a half sacks, I believe, over the 4 years. 100 tackles, good player. But these are positions of need to fill positions. This is a hurting area for South Carolina. Their front four, Buggy and those guys, Tonka, good players, but they haven't been program-changing players. And neither is this guy. He's a good football player, but he's not a program-changing type of player. I mean, they got, as I see right here, 7 commits right behind, if you look at the rankings, behind Colorado. I mean, they got some dudes, right? Cal Kennard. They're going to bring in Dylan Stewart, Tonka Hemingway. Their D-line looks good. So that's good. You got to have that. I'm not beating that down, but I'm just telling you they don't have dudes that the big boys in America are trying to get. You can tell me, oh, yeah, you're supposed to go to Florida State. You can tell me all of this, but let's just be honest. These are not dudes that people are knocking down the door for, right? Coming out of high school, 3-star type of guys. If y'all are into that, I know a lot of you are. Okay, but these are not the dudes that that they are knocking down doors to get. And I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm not. I'm just being honest. Okay, because I want you to be honest about your perception and where this program is heading and going and what they're trying to do, right? So these guys are not the big-time guys. They needed edge rusher, Cal Kennard. They get him from Georgia Tech. That's a good pickup. 1.5 tackle for loss, 12.5 sacks in his career. 4-year guy. They're going to go with experience. They're going to go with the guy that has played a lot of football, and he has played a lot of football, and he can help this team. All right, running back room, they got Rocket, I talked about. They got Oscar Ardway, 736 yards, 6 touchdowns, Texas State maybe. And Jawan Howell out of South Carolina, 7 touchdowns, 800 yards. Guys that have played. And they will go good in your room. But they are not. They are not program-changing guys. Are these the type of guys that's going to get you from 5 to 10? Is these the type of guys that can get you from unranked to try to get in the top 12? You need them, yes. But I'm telling you, they are not that caliber dude. You need Jimmys and Joes to go along with these types of guys. Do you feel me? You got to have some go-getters. You got to have a guy that can block a speed rusher. You got to have a guy that can rush the offensive tackle and beat him one-on-one and get direct pressure on the quarterback. You got to have receivers. They lost Juice Wells. They lost guys. They don't have a number one. They got a lot of dudes, but they don't have anybody on the outside of the receiver that a defensive coordinator is scared of. Okay? You got to address that. But I like Ardway. I like the players. You lose Xavier Legette. He was that dude. They don't have that guy. You know, Juwan Howell was an SCS freshman All-American. Good player. These are good players. But you got to have Jimmy's and the Joes. So they got a lot of dudes committed. And a lot of you are excited, right? I get it. I get it. But here's the point to caution you. Because I don't want you to beat these dudes up when they don't be what you think they're going to or supposed to be. Right? They got Hosea Thompson, good player. All right, so they got some dudes. Let's see here. Is there any more? Jared Brown, Jaden McGowan, DeAndre Jules out of Pittsburgh, another defensive lineman that they need. But again, it's not a guy that I honestly never heard of. Good player, probably. Got some experience, but they are not going to just by themselves get you from 5 to be a team that people are going to be afraid of. This is what I want you to know. Shane and the staff hustling, working their tails off, right? NIL is a big deal when it comes to transfer portal. I know this for a fact. I work for the Rise. I do things with the Rise. I know how it all works. I know what's going down. But you got to have some showstoppers. If you're really going to make a boost, if you're really going to dent, you know, like the Ole Miss is getting the guy, the edge rusher from Florida, that type of guy. You know, Juice Wells will be that type of guy. And I know this scuttlebutt going on in the media right now. But he is that type of guy when healthy. They got to find some dudes that's going to help elevate the game to the next level. You need those foundational pieces, which they got. But as I said, as a fan, as a former player, I'm not going crazy over that because I really don't know how good they are. They played a lot, but let's see when they get in this conference. Let's see when they play against the big boys. But I appreciate the work ethic of the coaches and staff and Beamer and what they're doing. But I want to warn you, they got to be some showstoppers. Finally, I appreciate what the Garnet Trust is doing, the match, the anonymous donor list. I knew about that when it happened. I know the whole situation and probably could tell you where that's coming from. That's not my position. But collectives It's not just football. Collectives is all the sports. We know that football drives the other sports. We know that football is going to be deemed as the most important. But that money that's getting matched, well, it's not just football. It's for Dawn Staley. It's for men's basketball. It's for soccer, men's soccer, women's soccer, tennis, other sports as well. And we know where the majority goes. So just know that what you're giving is not just football, which many of you are giving just for football. But I would tell you that don't be disheartened with all this stuff happening. It sounds good on Twitter, but until we see it on the field, until we see the outcome, then let's have conversation. But I do know this, you better get some real Jimmys and Joes. You better get some program changers. With this schedule that just got released today, it's not easy. And you better have some dudes that can play. When South Carolina was at their best, they had dudes. They had Lattimores. They had the Clowners. They had Melvin Ingram. They had Stephon Gilmore. They had Holloman. They had dudes, Alshon Jeffrey. They had dudes that everybody in America wanted, and they can go to that team and start. How many of those guys do we have? And that should be our attitude. So I push you to give, because the only way you're going to get them is because of money. That's the new college football world we live in. Yeah, you can get average guys or you can get big guys. The question is, or should be, what do you want? Coaching takes you so far. But to be the upper echelon, you got to have Jimmys and Joes, and Jimmys and Joes cost you money if you're not going to take the time to develop and wait and be patient. That's the world of college sports, Gamecocks, that we in. This has been Pastor Points right here. Miller's Edge Extra. Corey Miller, Christian Miller catches every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 Eastern Time, 11 to 12 Central Time on Tide 100.9. Free download app on your smartphone or your device. Check us out. And then the Miller's Edge Extra on YouTube, which you're watching me now. May the Lord bless you and keep you. We'll talk soon.